how small is the world. I mean, this connects us. It's like making friends all over the world, and you can be there just with one click of the mouse.
I didn't even know there was such a thing.
A few months later, Patrick decided to open a second operation in the Philippines, a place where labor is even cheaper. It is no accident that computer games have an addictive quality. That is what their designers intended. Ubisoft is one of the biggest game companies with over 3,000 employees and annual revenues approaching $1 billion. Their game design studio in Montreal is one of the largest in the world. Ubisoft makes some of the most successful games in the business, famous for cinematic realism. They will spend up to $20 million and employ Hollywood-style production techniques, such as elaborate sound effects creation. Motion capture is a new way of making characters move. The real motions of the human body are recorded and then incorporated into the computer animations.
Each red spot that we see here is a camera. We have 24 in our studio, 24 cameras, which gives us a 20 by 30 capture stage. Once it's captured, it goes into the computer, and we can use this data to basically have really natural motion onto our 3D characters. Okay, good.
Game programmers, most of them are very savvy game players, and they know what other savvy game players want. And there's no doubt that the name of the game from where they're coming from is to try and get people to spend as much time playing and interested in the game as possible.
Okay.
The most compelling games are online fantasy adventures. These games are as complex as life itself. Just like real life, there is no off button. The game cannot be paused.
Well, ultimately, the game designer is responsible for making the game fun. You kind of have to understand basic psychology. A lot of games are about reward structures. You know, it's about how do I get rewarded? How do I make my avatar better? How do I get the highest score or what have you? So you have to be able to think about in your head before the game's in front of you, how am I going to be able to do that? So a lot of it's kind of gamer intuition and then coming up with, you know, using your analytical skills, come up with these rule systems to achieve how you want the player to feel and how you want the player to interact.
不要。不要什么意思？不要就是不要。
World of Warcraft is the first game to find a global audience. In China, its characters have become pop culture icons. It took a team of hundreds of developers 5 years to create this virtual universe. Every object, every beast, every leaf on every tree has been created by a vast army of computer artists. Hundreds of millions of lines of computer code create the illusion of a limitless world.
The designer of a multiplayer world is as close to being a god as any human being's ever gotten. They're enabling new forms of human expression. They're designing compelling worlds. They're putting us in rich environments. They're creating new kinds of experiences.
It would take months to explore this virtual world on foot. World of Warcraft is as big as a small country.
What the game designer has to do is continually feed them activities, feed them new stimulation, new things that they want to do.
Online games operate on a monthly subscription basis, and the goal is to make sure that players keep renewing.
Before World of Warcraft, you know, we kind of looked at games as trying to provide 30 to 50 hours of enjoyment, and then if people played beyond that, then that was kind of a bonus. but World of Warcraft's a game that we're trying to provide 500 hours to unlimited hours of enjoyment.
You'll have played all the main areas, and suddenly they'll announce, we've created a new forest, you know? We've created a whole new class of demons to quest. Or if you log in this weekend, we're going to unleash a special bunch of battles. You can't blame them for it. They're running a business. They've got to keep people coming back.
With World of Warcraft, online games have become part of mainstream life.
I was just wrong. I'm sorry, bro.
Dave Eliasberg is the leader of a 60-player World of Warcraft guild in Northern California.
Hey, Josh, make yourself useful. Plug this shit in, wait.
They meet online 3 times a week to do battle as a virtual army. Sometimes part of the guild will congregate at the home of a member.
Tonight I think we're just going to go and probably go kill Nefarian, which is one of the end dragons. We'll have 15 people here, but there'll be about 45 to 50 people online tonight.
Before leaving on a quest, the guild members bring their avatars to an appointed spot.
Everybody wave, everybody wave, everybody wave. Just keep waving.
We usually play like 3 hours a night, 4 nights a week. You know, we cut $1 million deals during the day and slay dragons at night.
All right, fire it up. All right, fire it up.
Guilds are complex hierarchies. Each member has a role to play that they've chosen themselves.
We usually have 6 or 7 priests, 6 mages, 6 rogues, 6 warriors.
It's a world full of esoteric language and obscure rituals that only insiders can follow.
Certain classes of magic, if you will. So usually arcane, frost, or fire. Then you have warlocks, which can cast spells in the shadow and fire. Create water, which is create food. The healers are priests, druids, and paladins. Or if you're playing all horde, you can have a shaman, which also is a healer.
You better turn up priest or dragon food.
Lyric fade that, please.
Finally, the beast is vanquished. The quest has taken over 3 hours. The rewards for slaying the dragon are valuable virtual objects that increase the avatar's power.
What we just went through is figuring out who gets it. And it's based on who contributes the most, who does the most, all that good stuff.
Many of us live in day-to-day worlds where it's hard to say at the end of the day what you accomplished. But to come home and be a warrior, you know, kill the orc and get some new doodad for your avatar is a very different kind of experience of success and accomplishment. We enjoy a sense of power in fantasy that's much greater than most of us experience in our everyday life.
For most players, online games are a passionate hobby. For others, they are more real than life itself. The new wave are online games that have their own consumer economies. Players spend real money to buy virtual clothing, virtual furniture, and virtual real estate. Status matters. The goal is to provide your avatar with all the trappings of the good life. Where there are buyers, there are sellers. Some players are now making a lot of real money using software to create desirable objects to sell to other players. It's called a virtual economy, an economy based on things that don't exist.
There's less of a distinction for a lot of people between the real world and the game world. You're now seeing more people going, you know what, I can actually make some okay money doing this. Maybe I'm really good at crafting t-shirts that people like to buy. Or maybe I'm really good at providing some sort of a service.